there will be wine flowing from a new vineyard in Northeast Ohio. It is located in an unusual place.
Leon Bibb takes us to another stop in his continuing series, My Ohio with Leon Bibb. And today, Leon, you've got a story about how a place and a man are tied together.
Oh, you're absolutely right about that. You know, it is my mission to take you to unusual places. Sometimes they're off the beaten track, but they are gemstones I have found along the way in my travels. Today, I take you to a vineyard. It is unusual, to say the least, and it is run by a man whose life is as storied as is his vineyard. Come along with me and bring your wine glass to another roadside stop in My Ohio. The vineyard, a slow process, raising vines, waiting on the grapes to mature and give. It takes a while waiting for the wine, but it will flow in due time. Working the vineyard is a man with patience, tending the young vines, today pruning. Mansfield Frazier understands the grapevine must be cut back for it to strengthen.
This year, cut off.
This Northeast Ohio land yields promises of things to come. The land is a most unusual plot at Hough Avenue and East 66th Street, in the heart of Cleveland's inner city Hough neighborhood. The Vineyards of Chateau Hough was begun by neighborhood resident Mansfield Frazier.
This is an urban farming project. It may be grapes, but it's still, it's still urban farming.
You got to lay that down.
I got to lay that. I want to keep that laying that way.
3 years ago, this was a field of weeds, virtually forgotten in the city's land bank. Frazier said, "I think I'll grow something." With consulting expert winemakers from Italy, he cut a path.
I see it as renewing inner city neighborhoods to create wealth in inner city neighborhoods. We've got land. It's aesthetically pleasing. And so, and I've got the young kids that might act out, those 12, 13, 14-year-olds, they all work for me.
The neighborhood supports idea of this 3/4 of an acre boasting 300 grapevines, half Frontenac, half Traminette. He figures grapes will yield 3,000 bottles. A year ago, vines were taller, but not mature enough for the harvest yet. Frazier cut them back. Pruning strengthens the grape for the longer run. There's an old commercial for a wine. "We will sell no wine before its time," boasts the announcer. Time is important in any vineyard. A time to plant, a time to harvest, a time to be patient. Mansfield Frazier is a man who understands the concept of time. You are a former counterfeiter. You
Yes.
spent time in prison.
Prisons.
Prisons. That's a lot of years.
Not that many years, but a lot of different.
Mansfield, what turned your life around?
I managed to get a book published. And from then, it was my new challenge was how much money could I make and not break the law?
Helping returning ex-cons find work, Frazier has hired some to work the vineyard. He values everyone and all land, including an inner city acre cultivated into wine country. At the beginning, 3 years ago, some thought he had lost touch, as they remembered the decades ago troubling times of the Hough riots.
They act like that because there was a riot here, what, 30 or 40 years ago?
1960s.
Yeah, 1960s, that the land was forever despoiled. You could never grow anything. They were wrong. All they did was burn down the houses, and actually that ash might have made the soil richer. We may have been onto something.
The neighborhood grows, as does its vineyard. Both require work and patience. Mansfield Frazier is the picture of patience, working and waiting on the wine. Living across the street, he celebrates the neighborhood's goodness and the neighborhood's grape. A story from the vineyards of Chateau Hough, wine country, in the heart of Cleveland. There could be wine pouring toward the end of this year, depending on the weather, of course. But then Mansfield Frazier may wait another year for the vines to mature even more. As I said, this is a story about patience in waiting on the wine from the vineyards of Chateau Hough.
Chateau Hough. Well, whenever that happens, you'll have to go back for the wine tasting.
Yeah.
Take your glass with you and let's pour it sweet and clear.
And you know, I love how he's getting the young people involved and helping him maintain it, because that may be something they can continue to carry on.
Oh yeah, he's made his mark in the neighborhood, and I will tell you there are more things to come, but that's for another story.
Oh, we'll be
Keep us
patient.
guessing. Will you, everybody?
Thank you, Leon.